Morning. Rightio, it is a bloody chilly Jamestown day. It's been a couple of very chilly days up here. What we got going on today is some spraying. We're going to start doing a bit of grass freeing, so spraying out the grasses out of our vetch. We've got to do our beans and our peas, but there's not so much of a rush on those. It's still early enough, but the biggest problem we've got at the moment is we're starting to get a bit of red-legged earth mite damage in some of these broadleafs. So we need to go out and spray the bugs anyway. So we're thinking, especially the stuff that's just sheep feed, we're going to get onto it now and spray the grasses out as well while we're doing it. So we're going to make a move on that today. I have to get the batching station back over the road there, the chemical shed, and yeah, we're going to get organised. I've got to go and pick up some chemicals and we're going to get into it. I feel like this thing's really going to come into its own today because we've got to mix up quite a few granules for this stuff, so it'll work really well being able to put that stuff in there and then really let it get beat up before we put it into the sprayer. But before we get too far, see how much water we got. Is there 4,000 litres in there? Yeah, I'm going to say there is. But just to be on the safe side, and because we've got more spraying to do, oh, this is going to be heavy, I'm going to pump some water back into this tank here anyway while I've got a little bit of time on my hands, because we're going to need it anyway. Rightio, I need to go back over the other side and get an adapter, which I took back over there the other day to pump some water somewhere else, but inevitably I need it back here now. And for anyone who doesn't know, we pretty much solely rely, I talked about this like earlier on in the year, but for all of our crop spraying generally, everything around the house, the workshop, everything, we rely on rainwater, solely rainwater. So I've got to transfer some water between tanks here so we can keep the water up to the sprayer basically. We don't have any mains water here, so I'm sure there's plenty of farms around the place that don't have mains water connected to them. But while I'm doing a few other things, I will get some water transferring from the other tanks. And speaking of rain, it literally has not rained here properly since, I think the last decent rain we had was around the 6th of June. We had 16 mil. Since then we haven't been able to crack more than like 3, 4, I think we might have had a 5 mil rainfall in there, but that's very unusual. I think it's about the 20th of July today, so we've gone way over a month without any decent rainfall, and we should be getting an inch of rain every few weeks at this time of the year, and it's a little bit concerning because it's starting to get pretty dry out there. So if it keeps this up for much longer, is this year going to be a drought year? I'm not sure. It's not looking awfully promising at the moment. And the funny thing about all that is that all the weather agencies have been saying that it's going to be a very wet year for us here in South Australia, and so far 18-inch average rainfall. We've had 5 inches for the year, and we're about to go into the 8th month of the year, so that's a drought year in my opinion, but we'll see if it turns around. There's still time, still plenty of time. So moral of the story there is that I'll never ever take or order fertiliser or anything like that on a long range forecast from these weather agencies, because they're absolutely terrible. So once again, I've really been quite slack with filming and that lately, and that's because, well, we should be flat out spraying and spreading fertiliser and things like that at this time of the year, if I can spit my words out. But it doesn't want to rain, so I figure, you know, watching me remove furniture back into our renovated house and pre-seasoning the air seeder again is fairly boring, and I don't think you really want to see that. It's a maze of taps and things. Normally we actually pump the water over via an electric pump from over the other side by the workshop, but because we just want water real quick today rather than waiting for it to gravity feed, from these tanks over here, I'm just going to pump it in with the little Honda pump. That way it'll do it nice and quickly and job done. And also these tanks here are fairly new. There used to be a tank here ages ago, and then it was an old steel tank with a liner in it that started leaking, so there was no tank here for ages, but we're starting to get our water storage back up again a little bit now, which is good. The other thing we've been doing is getting rid of the feedlot has started taking a heap of this barley away out of the grain shed there, so that's good. It's been favourable conditions. Last year they wanted to come and take barley, and it just rained non-stop and they couldn't really get in here to get the barley, so yeah, we've sort of started chipping away at that. There's still plenty more to go out of there. So here is exactly what I'm talking about. There's very young wheat out here. It's dry. It's dry on top. There's still some moisture down underneath, so it's not like they're starving for moisture, but it's to be driving around spraying and throwing dust at this time of the year is a little bit weird for us. So we're not really in trouble yet, but it's getting dry enough. We're going to need something soon. And you know, that's our biggest problem, is always springtime rainfall from September onwards. So we really need to be banking as much moisture as we can at this time of the year for the drier part of the year. And at the moment, we haven't banked anything. Nothing. We've had 5 inches of rain in the last 9 to 10 months. So it's yeah, it's a little worrying. Anyway, we'll see how it all pans out. Right, I'll go get my prescriptions from the agronomist. That's got everything written down on it that I need, and we'll run in and get what we need. Chemical acquired. Rightio, she's brewing up in there now because it's got the ammonium sulfate in there as granules. This will be really, really good for mixing all that up. So we're going to let that mix for a while. We'll go get the sprayer and then we'll load up and get going. So there is a slight change of plans, and that is that one of the main paddocks that's got a real bad bug problem, we were going to go spray it today, but because the wind's coming from the east, the wind's going to be blowing directly over a barley crop of ours, so we don't want to go and spray that one just yet. But we've got another couple of paddocks here by home, one that we can only spray when we have an easterly wind because it's got wheat all the way around it, and the only side it doesn't have a grass crop on it is to the west side. So we'll spray that one, and then we'll just go up and work on another one up here that's not got any grass next to it either, grass crops like wheat or barley. So whew, anyway, we're getting something done. That's the main thing. Alright, let's get out of here and get some spraying done. It always seems to take me longer than what I think it's going to fill up crazy hair, don't care. So here's our vetch. It is looking absolutely pathetic at the moment because we didn't get any rain, and vetch hates the cold weather. It doesn't grow, but there's just some whitening, probably a bit hard to see, on the leaves on this vetch, and that's red-legged earth mite eating away at the plants. But what we're trying to do in here is get our volunteer barleys, our ryegrasses, and knock them off now, so the vetch can get away when it warms up and conditions are a bit better. And hopefully it'll turn out to be alright. At the moment you can barely see the stuff because, like I said, it's just cold and it doesn't want to grow. But anyway, let's get in here and destroy some weeds. Alrighty, we are hooking through it. I've got about 1,300 litres left, so I'll get another 13 hectares done, and then we'll call it a day for the spraying, I think. I'll probably be getting a little bit late anyway to fill up and come back out, but we got the main paddock done that we wanted to today, so that's good. But this paddock that I'm in now, I've heard some people asking around. I posted some stuff on my Facebook story about mouse damage and that sort of thing, and we haven't really taken on much mouse damage at all this year, apart from this one paddock of vetch. This had a horrible amount of mouse holes in it when we seeded it, and we were a little bit slack on coming back and checking it. But generally it's okay. It's just like over the tops of the risers up there, and then back over the other side of the hill where there's like rising white ground. The mice seem to love it there, so yeah, there's a little bit of damage there, but you know, it'll still be a vetch crop, so, and good for the sheep. So yeah, anyway, we've learnt our lesson a little bit there with mice this year, so just need to be a little bit more onto it, I think. Anyway, if you are a farmer from South Australia, I'd love to know if you've had much trouble with mice this year. I think I heard maybe, I don't know whether this is right or not, but the York Peninsula had a bit of trouble with mice, but apart from around here, I don't know that there's been all that much trouble. So put it down in the comments if you're a farmer from SA and you've had mouse problems. Let me know. Rightio, we're done. Out of here. Grass freeing is underway. Well, I tell you what, they've just been toying with the idea of a little bit of rain maybe coming through early next week, and I tell you what, boy oh boy would we just love 5mm right now. 5 or 6 mil so we could get out, get some urea on. We've been wanting to do it for the last 3 weeks, so we just haven't had any rain. Is there a little monster here? I must have walked that side of the shed and you walked that side of the shed, because I went inside looking for you and I couldn't find you. Did you miss me? Oh, really? That's very sweet. You know what I was just saying before? I was saying, you know what's stuck in my head? Thomas and Friends. You know, Thomas the Tank Engine? You want to wear my beanie? Okay. Oh, good job. Looks good. You want to go to Jeffro Transport and pick up deliveries? I think Mum wants to.
Yes! I'm not Mum, I'm a horsey.
Alright, let's go. Is that for me? Thanks. Well, did take Stacey in and we did pick up those items. I'm going to leave the video here, guys. I'm just running up to shut a couple of gates because I couldn't be bothered hopping out of the sprayer. So luckily they're only about 500 metres away from the house, so I'll go and shut those quickly. I'll leave this here. Thanks very much for watching. See you all next time. Have a good one.